There was this quiz shared by Krishna today, and he himself gave the wrong answer. The answer to the quiz in your group is, now what makes you think, Krishna, that it would be authoritarianism?
Sir, if I may, positive liberty is where the state puts internal constraints on the citizens or the subjects. So the paradox of this theory would be, I think, authoritarianism, because this liberty could be positive liberty could be used in a different way, wherein we can implement much more authoritarian rules, so that it instead becomes more constraints rather than freedom.
Listen. The very concept of liberty. Why is state going for positive liberty? Why is state venturing into the domain of positive liberty?
Was it to put on some constraints which lead to less libertic actions? For example,
anyone? Why does state need to venture into positive liberty domain?
Because the citizens have submitted all their freedoms except right of life.
You are quoting Hobbes. I am saying, why at all positive liberty kind of thing exists?
To protect people who cannot protect themselves.
Actually, to protect the vulnerable, protect everyone who has good governance. Because if everyone starts doing everything on its own, his or her own, there would be a complete chaos.
Agreed,
correct,
sir.
to stop anarchy. Agree, all of you?
Yes, sir.
That is why we need the state to intervene, to tell people that there is a threshold that you cannot cross. Correct. Now, which authoritarian government cares about this? Which authoritarian, autocratic government cares about positive liberty, any kind of liberty? The very fact that there is a paradox. Paradox means, yesterday only we discussed it. I'm surprised how you are saying autocratic form, authoritarianism. Paradox means a dilemma, a self-contradictory virtue, right?
Sir, I could not attend yesterday's class. That's why I had this doubt.
Yesterday you were not there?
No, sir, I was not present. That's why I had this doubt.
Okay. Rest of you, are you understanding, all of you? Others, okay, the videos are recorded, so you can always listen to them and see all those who are there and they have understood, they are writing yes, sir. So the thing is, please try to understand it again. Paradox is type of confusion, a dilemma, a self-contradiction. Okay. So what is asking here that if you say democracy, then let people do what they want to. Why are you kind of in the name of positive liberty, state is trying to curb? This is what the question was. Okay, state would say that in the name of social optima, I am curbing the individual liberty. Social optima, society as a whole. This is one of the pitfalls of democracy, that they tend to be collective, and that is why individuals at times are at the receiving end. Still not clear? Sort of क्यों यार? How will you have to appear for your main? Are you appearing this year? No. You are not this year, guys, right? 2021 वाला कोई 2020 में किसी ने तो नहीं देना ना, तो हो रहा है जनवरी में. The next main, none of you are writing? None of you? Thanks. Not to worry. Today I'll start ideologies only. Today I'll start with ideologies. So this thing will be crystal clear to every one of you today. So what was the last thing that we did in democracy? This liberal question. Still, if there is a doubt, Krishna and other few people, then this will be clear today, because I'll start with liberalism itself. The last thing we did in democracy, I think we were discussing paradox. The last paradox was the liberty and equality, right? Did I explain that to you? Did I explain liberty and equality? Okay, now, so let us wrap it up and move to our next module. Let us now move to our next module. Continue with the further points. This way we will sum it up. That it's based on majority rule. This is what it is based on. Democracy claims that it is a system based on rule of the majority. Practically, what happens? Anyone who does not know the full form, what was the vote percentage of Modi ji in 2019? Listen carefully. What was the vote percentage of Modi ji, BJP in 2019? I'm not asking how many. Give me an exact figure. Anyone aware of it? 45 or 50 was the NDA vote share, Hemant. To us, if I'm unable to recall it, I think it was 38 or 39, something like that. Because I clearly remember 38%. I need to check the ECI website for the exact figure, but certainly it was between more than 37, 38, less than 40. Because NDA, you know, that is BJP plus, they were close to 50%. Okay, historic. Okay, that was the vote share. So if 31% was 38% was the vote share of BJP. What does that tell us? And NDA was actually 46%. Okay, yes, this is what ECI said. Election Commission of India reported this. 46% vote for NDA. NDA, you know, BJP and the allies. Now the thing is, let us confine ourselves to the BJP. Seats out of 543. So a 30%, 38%, 38% vote share gives you 303 out of 543. Why? Because of first past the post. Okay, first past the post, which means 100 minus 38. What would it be? What you wrote? Actually. Okay, but this 62% is split. You know, in Bihar we call it vote katwa. Your MP is getting furious because he has ventured into Bihar and there he has been labeled as vote katwa. This is actually split. Congress, P, BSP, AAP, your MP, your another hero, Sleeping Beauty, Deve Gowda. No, he's from Karnataka. And who else? Naveen Patnaik, TMC. Okay, so 62% is split. Okay, it is 38% is consolidated vote. Understood, PTP? No, US elections are entirely different. We'll talk about it later in IGP. Try to understand this. Democracy claims, okay, democracy claims that it is based on majority. But practically what happens? FPTP happens, first past the post. Okay, so practically FPTP, first past the post happens, and it means that you can write person. How do we define it? That you can write this. Yes, it is conservative industry. Okay, write this. How many of you understood it? The least rejected. Can I rub this? All of you have noted? No, it's not like that, Santosh. This is how it works. So this is the problem. Another thing you write here, next point, formal rights and actual rights. There is a gap between the two. Democracy promises so many things, but delivers this. This is a very easy point, I guess. Do I need to explain this? Anyone? That it promises all sort of rights. No, not left wing, right wing. Where is left wing, right wing here? Democracy promises all sort of rights formally, but when it comes to reality, the gap is very wide. Okay, you have all the freedom of do what you want to, the livelihood, right to life and liberty. But then the thing is, all these rights are not actualized. When it comes to ground, the gap, right, what is promised and what it actually delivers is there is a gap. Okay, they are unable to implement what they promise. Is it okay? Example can be anything, right? You do not have absolute freedom of speech and expression. Okay, and despite Article 21 that it right to life and personal liberty, there are people getting killed. So where is their right to life? It's not that state is taking away their life after a due process or the procedure established. Both are now same in India. After that Maneka Gandhi verdict, I've explained this. The murders are happening, so right to life is not protected. So right to life, let us leave others. What to do with others? We are criticizing democracy for now because it is democracy that claims to be the best. Okay, so it's saying that what actually it is practiced and what actually it is theoretized, there is a gap. That is it. Okay with all of you? Next you see, you can write. Okay, there is a vast economic disparity between the rich and the poor. So the poor are unable to exercise their political rights. Okay, simple point. The rich kind of manipulate. Please note it down. Can I rub this? Now we are about to complete it. So you just write that, change the para and write, let us all be pro-democracy, because that is what is happening in world. Like there can be a constitutional crisis. Okay, twisted circumstances. This is how we will sum it up. Right? Noted. Right up this. Okay. So these are the various paradoxes. Now it is time for us to move on a very important module of your syllabus. It is called ideologies, political ideologies. And here, just I'll show you something. Your syllabus has mentioned certain ideologies. Like this is what we'll start with: liberalism. Then what else was there? Socialism, then Marxism, fascism, Gandhism, and my favorite, no, your syllabus does not mention idealism. Now, how many have not covered? No, syllabus. I have quoted your syllabus. There are so many other isms. What can I do? When syllabus specially says only these. No, you have not attended Karl Marx, Vishwanath. How many of you have not attended this in Western political thought with me? How many of you have not attended Karl Marx as a Western political thinker? Please let me know. Savya. Who else? Bhagavati. Two people. Vishwanath, I guess you also. Yes. Your question told me that you have not attended it. Three people. I wanted to skip it, but now I cannot. Never mind. There is a provision for everyone. So I'll start with the first one, the liberalism. Okay, liberalism. What actually is liberalism? So a brief introduction I would give you. Okay, and just you can. So when it comes to liberalism, what actually qualifies as liberalism? And no, we are not mentioning about different liberal thinkers. The thing is that liberalism, what happens here is that it's actually a very late phenomena. It's a 19th century phenomena. Liberalism is essentially a 19th century phenomena, and not it is not found in agricultural societies when farming was done. And what else was done? Feudalism, you remember? There were feudal lords who used to command a group of peasants, like for maybe 50 peasants, there is a feudal lord who will collect the tax from the peasant and then give it to the king. So kings used to appoint the feudal lords who in charge used to regulate the peasants. Are you understanding? So this was the system before the advent of industrial revolution. Now, the moment how did king used to manage everything? Why would the feudal lord obey the king, or why would the farmer obey the feudal lord? Because of the king. King used to claim the divine right theory that I have been sent by God to rule over you. So here are my appointed feudals. Here are my appointed, in Hindi we call it samant. Here are my appointed feudal lords who will collect from you, O poor peasant. So me being God appointed, you have to give it to me, to my feudal lords. Okay, so see how it was justified. There was this essence of absolutism over here. You know what is absolutism? Power is concentrated in the hand of a single person. That was his absolutism. The king was actually an absolute king. Divine right theory focuses on absolute rights of the king. Nothing is beyond king. Okay, there is nothing that he cannot do. There is nothing which is other than him. Okay, this was his absolutism. So moved over this, when this thing got new era came, and different more perspectives started to evolve. Then comes the yes. I'll explain you something. Just see this. You have asked this question, so let me write something here. Feudal and the zamindari system in India was actually same. Okay, it was actually same. What it was actually, because the only thing is here the British used to appoint, here the king used to appoint. In its own country, king used to appoint the feudal lord in its own country. Here the British used to appoint the Indian zamindar. The function was same, right? Did you understand? So liberal thinkers, you know, in 18th and 19th century, they were influenced by Enlightenment. They were influenced by Enlightenment. Liberals were, and then they kind of started believing in universal reason. Now, what is this Enlightenment? Just a brief note you can write here. Please make these flowcharts. No, I'll not exactly Ramesa. It's an offshoot of Ramesa. Let us write it, else there will be confusion. Please note it down. Intellectual movement. This is movement here that reached its peak, top, zenith in 18th century. It challenged traditional beliefs in religion, politics, and learning in general. Everything that you were learning, how they challenge it? By reason, by quoting reason and progress. Noted? Can I drop? Okay, I'm waiting. All of you have noted, right? Okay. Now let us try to understand liberalism in a better way. You see that it's actually, the word is liber, it's a Latin word. Please write it. Men who are neither serf nor slave. Serf means peasant, farmer. So this term liberalism, it was used for the first time in 1820 in Spain. Okay, now it is a kind of political elegance. First time it happened, and by 1840s it was popular in Europe. It became popular in Europe. Please, have you noted these scripts, all of you? Now you see. It's not popular. I said political elegance. Did I write popular? Political it is. Did I write popular? Please see. You understood what is political elegance? Elegance means the party you subscribe to, the ideology you subscribe to, what you believe in. Political elegance, political subscription, political thought. Which party is having your support? You are having political elegance to that very party. Which ideology is having your support? You are having political ideological elegance to it. Now there is a central theme of liberal ideology. Liberalism, there is a central theme, has a central theme. Now what is that central theme? That central theme is commitment to the individual. Okay, desire construct a society where people can satisfy their interest and achieve fulfillment. Okay, so there is certain assumption also. This is what they long to belong. This is what they want. Why? Because they assume this. Just this flowchart will make things very. This is how I teach in class. Okay, this is how I teach. I keep explaining and I keep writing like these flowcharts. Just that here you cannot see me, but I'll appear if you miss me. I'll switch on the camera. So the assumption is, what is the assumption? Why they have the central theme that the desire to cause so where people can satisfy their interest and achieve fulfillment? Because they assume certain things. What is the assumption? The assumption is that human beings, they highly regard human beings or individuals, me, you, or anyone for that matter, are endowed with reason. Okay, we all have reason. So this would imply, what would that imply? You write this: maximum possible freedom. Okay, now try to understand. Human beings have reason. So because of reason, they will do very good for themselves because they are reasonable people. You are a reasonable guy. So you will maximize or minimize your profit. You will maximize or minimize your welfare. Tell you are having a reason, ability to reason, to think rationally. So you will tend to maximize your welfare and profit, right? So let people have all the freedom in the world, because they have so much reasons in themselves. Every individual on this planet is having so much reason that automatically he or she will try to maximize his welfare and profit. He will try to optimize that welfare. So when individuals try to optimize their welfare, they reach a level where they kind of actually maximize their welfare. And when every individual does the same, society is nothing but an aggregate of individuals. See, such simplistic assumptions liberals make, that society is nothing but an aggregate of individuals, technically very correct. And everyone endowed with all the pure reason in the world is trying to maximize his or her own optimum. So societal optimum would be achieved. That is why women should be left free. Allow them to do what they want to do because they are driven by reason. Okay, and being driven by reason, they will maximize their profit, their welfare. Did you understand this liberalism? Any question anyone has? Don't ask follow up. What would happen? No. Did you understand this? Any question in what I have explained? Please let me know. Any question in what I have explained? Santosh, liberalism does not increase one's efficiency. Liberalism assumes that individual, yes, negative freedom. State should not intervene. This is correct. Shares. Santosh, please try to understand. Liberalism would say individual will increase their efficiency on their own if they are left free. Is it all right? Any other question here? Anyone having a doubt? Any question? No questions? Please ask if you have, else I'll proceed. Fine. Now you see. What is the other assumptions and what they all want to do? Okay. So we saw how liberalism came. We saw how it came, and there were certain events like we have already talked about it. The constitutional monarchy came. The parliament was established. The French Revolution. This was 1789, and this was, we can say, 1776. It started actually. American. That's not in the syllabus. That's why I didn't tell. Thing is that in the context, in fact, I have not divulged much details about these two either, because that is something you study in history, and this is something you do not even study in your history. What happened was that monarchy was kind of suppressed through the parliament. The British Parliament came. That's it. So these events were kind of liberal events. These three. Okay. How? Challenge the absolute power of monarchy. Okay. They challenged the very assumption, the divine right. You know what is divine right, so I'm not going into that. And they advocated constitutionalism. Absolutism is this absolute power of monarchy. They criticize political and economic privileges of the aristocrats, the nobles. Okay, please note it down and let me know if you have noted. Noted. Questions you have, ask. Questions. So you see what happened. With the spread of industrialization, the liberals' ideas progressed, and liberals wanted an economic order that would be free from government interference. Businesses would be, allowed to pursue profits, and states would trade. This is how it should be. So it first started in England, the UK, mid 18th century. Then spread to America, then to entire Europe, right? Yes, now the laissez-faire would come. Note it down and see if you have questions here. See, here also, they are saying no authority. Let the government leave market. Okay, noted all of you? And even the new students, are you able to understand these things? Pursue profit, state would be free to trade. Are you able to understand? Please let me know, because There are people who told me that they have came 2 days before and 1 day before. Let us try to understand liberalism in full, then you will tend to know whether they are going like that. But your answer is no. Which economic policy is liberal? Can you tell me, Hemant? What happened in case of railway? One private train came, right? There is an entire rail ministry. One private train, what does that, how much difference does it make? See, there are different types of liberalisms. There is classic liberalism. So let them travel some distance in that direction. Let them travel some distance first. There are many forms of liberalism. I'm going to tell you the first form, the classic liberalism. Any other questions anyone has? Please ask if you have any other question. Chita, you want to say something? Sala, did you understand this? It's Shravya, the new one. समझ आया आपको? Can I rub this then? Okay. Now you see, there was this, how the story started actually. Started with classical liberalism. Okay. Now, at the core is the liberty of the individual. Individual is preferred over society, and man is, they say man is individualistic. Man is materialistic. Man is utilitarian. That is why how he will maximize his profit. He is utilitarian by nature. So because of this, they would say, so can the current government dare to say this? That right to property would be a natural right. They are already alleged to be acting on behalf of Adani and Ambani. Can they say that right to property is a natural right and one can have as much property as they want to? It cannot. What else the liberals would say? Man is rational because he is having reason. So he should challenge rituals, customs, and traditions. So rational man, knows what is best for him. So state should not tell him what to do. Okay, write it down and let me know. Noted? Can I repeat? All of you, any questions you have? Any questions then ask? Okay. New students, are you understanding or not? Are you just noting and listening? Are you there? Okay. Please don't hesitate but ask your questions. They believe in egoistical individualism, which means that humans are rationally self-interested creatures. Atomistic society. This is their assumption. Second thing, leave him alone. So when there is external constraint, it is positive freedom. So when the traffic light tells you to stop at a red light, that is positive freedom because there are certain external constraints. Okay. When there is a lockdown and you are not supposed to go out, as the police will beat you black and blue, that is positive freedom. Okay. When there are constraints put by the state, supposedly for your own benefit, that is external constraint or positive freedom. Negative means leave the person alone. He is so rational, he knows what to do. Leave him alone. Written all of you? Understood or not? Leave exploitation. We'll come to it. But did you understand what is there on the notes? You can rub this. Then what is the role of the state? State is a necessary evil, quote Thomas Paine. That is what they believe. Why? Because it lays down the conditions for ordinary existence. One order it gives you. But still it is evil as it imposes collective will on society. This collective will limits freedom. Okay, so state should be, John Locke would call, a night watchman. All of you know who is a night watchman? The tail enders. People like Venkatesh Prasad. Okay, understood this and noted it. Any questions here? Any question? Any question? Night watchman, how many of you don't understand? I think all of you do. Whosoever has watched cricket knows what is night watchman. State should be a night watchman. John Locke said this. No questions here? No. It gives freedom individuals. No, it's not a welfare state. Welfare state has to intervene to ensure your welfare. Liberal state will leave everything. Collective will might impose responsibility for a group, but then individual might not be a part of that group. Okay, collective will is only by the group. There can be individuals who do not belong to that group, who do not subscribe to the view of the group. No, there can be an individual on his or her own. Haven't you seen likes of whom should I call Rahul Iswar? Heard of him? Which side he belongs to? There are people who do not belong to any side. They have their own fantasy world, and collective will is not formed by a combination of groups, one dominant group. Okay, did you note? All of you noted it? I'm rubbing it. Now you see what else. So they prefer, instead of state, there should be civil society. This is a realm of freedom. State actually is a realm of question. So it is the civil society that will make freedom possible, because state question means force, forcefully making agree. No logic in state going for welfare measures. That state is best. And this was said by none other than, remember this name when you will study world history and particularly American Revolution. Right. Thomas Jefferson. Okay. Are you getting some idea what these guys are trying to tell us? What is the mentality of classic liberals? What? Individual on its leave me alone. Yes, leave me alone. Not careless, because individuals are so rationally enabled people that when left alone, they will do best for themselves. When humans beings are left alone, they will do best for themselves. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. They will kind of do best for themselves. They will care for themselves. They will nurture their skills. They will if the state intervenes, then it's like limiting the reasonable human being. That is not best for society or humans at all. There is no point in imposing a collective will. Collective optimum will be achieved when individual will achieve their optimum. How will individual achieve their optimum? When they will be left alone. Okay. So my question to you, all of you, is: are they believing in? Are they having good opinion of human beings or bad opinion? Of course, good. And like Plato, they would have said slavery is good, right? Which best opinion? Could not understand. Yeah, highest opinion. Okay, yes, of course. 100%. Yes, this is classic liberalism. This is the school of thought John Locke belongs to, Thomas Paine belongs to, okay, Adam Smith belongs to, Thomas Jefferson belongs to. You can keep these scholars in mind. Everything in extreme will become utopian, Krishna. Only Buddha's Madhyam Marg is best. Yes, Hobbes to some extent, not entirely. He's not a full classic liberal. Slavery is another issue. In fact, North and South America fought for that slavery issue. And there was another thing why Jefferson was leaders of slaves or masters of slaves. Please check it if he was leader or master. The American Civil War was fought on the issue of slavery only. Single largest factor. Wait for your history classes, okay? Wait for your history classes. There you will see this. But his view on state, he was not a state. He was owning some slaves, of course, but there were economic reasons. Slavery was very, very beneficial, especially to the south of the Americans, the small states. Okay, very interesting world histories. And these ideologies, they are the events were shaped because of these ideologies. So once you understand ideologies, you tend to appreciate and understand history in a lot better way. Trust me, no student of history will have insights that you will have, and they are very, very parallel stuffs. So yes, it becomes utopian. That is why classic liberalism will give rise to neoliberalism, okay, and modern liberalism. No questions now. I'll different forms of liberalism, modern and neoliberalism. Why you want to read something on it? Yes, I wanted to tell you something. The quad. I wanted to discuss the quad with you. Or there was something else. I remember, did I mention quad yesterday? I think I briefly did. There was something related to your current affairs. Unable to recall what it was. I think I have talked about quad yesterday. The four countries coming together, check that China. Was there something else? Okay, I'll keep revisiting these things, not to worry. Books. Ravi, yes, he clearly mentioned it. USSOS. Now, one more thing, the NCRT books. See, NCRT's books are just one click away. There is this beautiful app called ePathshala, which all of you can download in your phone if you want to, or in your laptop. You can get access to all the NCRTs there. For political science, as an optional, I would recommend just one NCRT. The political theory, class 11th book. I won't even recommend you to read Indian Constitution at work, because when I will teach you IGP, the Indian government and politics, you don't need to read any book. You will understand each and everything. Don't worry. Yes, for the IR part, for the second part of your paper, you can read Contemporary World Politics, class 12th NCRT. You can download these books. Just write NCRT class 12 on internet. You will get a dozen options. You can download the one which suits you. I can send you notes on the things I am discussing right now. There are many good notes that I can send you. Okay, I'll do that tomorrow in the afternoon. Indian contemporary world it is. I think it's politics in India since independence, and the other one is contemporary world politics. Maybe Indian contemporary. We'll just read that. The other one, other than the India one. See you all tomorrow.